How every NFL team owner got rich enough to become an NFL team owner. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Football, NFL is just 2 weeks away. And if you're like me, you might occasionally find yourself daydreaming about someday owning your very own NFL franchise. After all, they are pretty valuable properties. But how exactly does someone go about earning enough money to buy an NFL team? You're about to find out. For the money it takes to buy, own, and run an NFL franchise, you could own several mega yachts, a fleet of private jets, and a private island in the Bahamas. They are super rich, and majority of owners earn their money through old industry, like oil. Sometimes football fans think NFL owners have more money than brains. How else do you explain Norv Turner and A.J. Smith lasting so long with the Chargers? The Spanos family has to have taken a leave of their sanity. Or how about the Robert Irsay's Baltimore Colts packing everything up in the middle of the night and moving to Indianapolis? Or, well, anything Al Davis did except firing Lane Kiffin mid-season in 2008. Turns out that old Al may have been crazy, but he knew what he was doing in this instance. Do I even need to mention George Affrontier's reign as owner of the St. Louis Rams? But enough beating around the bush, let's look at how each NFL team owner got rich enough to purchase a professional football franchise.
Arizona Cardinals.
Owner, Bill Bidwill, owner since 1972.
Team net worth, $2.15 billion.
Bill Bidwill inherited the St. Louis Cardinals from his father Charles, who was a Chicago lawyer who allegedly had connections to mobster Al Capone. Bill moved the team from St. Louis to Arizona in 1988 after demands for a new stadium were not met. Atlanta Falcons.
Owner, Arthur Blank, owner since 2002. Team net worth, $2.475 billion.
Blank co-founded Home Depot in 1978. Nuff said, right? Blank is worth $4 billion, a far cry from the early days of the very early days of Home Depot. Blank and his partner would stand in the parking lot handing out $1 bills to try and get customers to go in and take a look around their store. Baltimore Ravens. Owner, Stephen Bisciotti, owner since 2004. Team net worth, $2.5 billion. Bisciotti was a minority owner of the team since 2000 until he became the full owner in 2004 in a $325 million deal with Art Model. The total amount he paid was $600 million. Bisciotti founded Aerotech in a basement with his cousin. This later became the parent company of the Allegis Group, which owns Aerotech and TEAC Systems, engineering and technology staffing firms. He is a recruiter, basically. He is worth $4 billion.
Buffalo Bills. Owner, Terrence Pegula, owner since 2014.
Team net worth, $1.6 billion. After graduating from Pennsylvania State University with a BS in engineering, Pegula went to work for the Getty Oil Company. In 1983, at the age of 32, Terrence branched out on his own by founding an oil and gas exploration company he named East Resources. Over the next several decades, East Resources grew into an incredibly successful company. In 2010, Terrence sold off most of the company's assets to Royal Dutch Shell for $4.7 billion. He sold another chunk of assets to American Energy in 2014 for $1.75 billion. He then used a portion of his funds to purchase the Buffalo Sabres NHL team and the Buffalo Bandits lacrosse team for $189 million. He also gave an $88 million donation to Penn State to aid in the construction of their new Pegula Ice Arena, and gave another $12 million to Houghton University for their Kerr Pegula Sports Complex.
On September 9, 2014, it was announced that a group of investors led by Terry had won the right to purchase the Buffalo Bills NFL franchise for $1.4 billion from the estate of former owner Ralph Wilson.
Terry's group beat out competing bids from a group led by John Bon Jovi and another group led by Donald Trump.
Carolina Panthers. Owner, Jerry Richardson, owner since 1993. Team net worth, $2.3 billion.
Richardson is a former NFL player for the Baltimore Colts. He was their wide receiver in 1959 and 1960, but he made his money owning Hardee's franchises in South Carolina and going on to run a food services company, Flagstar, as its CEO. Flagstar ran every single Denny's in the U.S. Richardson retired in 1995. He is personally worth $1.1 billion.
Chicago Bears. Owner, Virginia Hallis McCaskey, owner since 1983. Team net worth, $2.85 billion. McCaskey owns 80% of the Bears alongside her children and grandchildren. Virginia Hallis McCaskey is the eldest child of legendary Bears coach and owner George Papa Bear Hallis, who left the team to his daughter upon his death in 1983. George Hallis took A.E. Staley Companies, a starch manufacturer where he worked, rec league football team and basically turned it into the NFL. She is personally worth $1.3 billion.
Cincinnati Bengals. Owner, Mike Brown, owner since 1991. Team net worth, $1.8 billion. Brown took over the Bengals after his father died. He is also the general manager of the Bengals. He and Jerry Jones are the only two owners/managers in the NFL. Like the Hallis family, the Browns go way back in the NFL. Mike Brown's father Paul co-founded the Bengals. Cleveland Browns. Owner, Jimmy Haslam, owner since 2012.
Team net worth, $1.95 billion.
Haslam bought the Browns from Randy Lerner in 2012 for $1 billion. Haslam had to sell his minority interest in the Pittsburgh Steelers to buy the Browns per NFL rules not allowing owners to have ownership stakes in more than one team. Haslam is the CEO of the Pilot Flying J Truck Stop Company. Haslam and his company are currently under federal investigation for allegedly cheating customers out of fuel rebates. Dallas Cowboys. Owner, Jerry Jones, owner since 1989. Team net worth, $4.8 billion. The Cowboys are the most valuable NFL franchise. Jones bought the Cowboys for $140 million in 1989. He is one of the most visible and eccentric owners in pro sports. In 2009, Cowboys Stadium, now called AT&T Stadium in another multi-billion-dollar deal, opened at a cost of $1.3 billion to build. Jones made his money in oil in the 1970s and 80s.
His net worth is $5.6 billion.
Denver Broncos. Owner, Pat Bowlen, owner since 1984.
Team net worth, $2.6 billion.
Bowlen was an attorney in Edmonton before he became an executive in, you guessed it, his family's oil drilling and exploration company, Regent Resources. Bowlen's personal net worth is $1 billion. Detroit Lions. Owner, Martha Firestone Ford, owner since 1963, through her husband.
Team net worth, $1.7 billion.
Martha's husband William Clay Ford bought the Lions for $4.5 million in 1963. Ford was Henry Ford's last surviving grandson. He was the largest stockholder in the Ford Motor Company and was worth $1.2 billion at the time of his death. Martha is the granddaughter of Firestone founder Harvey Firestone.